Good evening, dear students. How are you all? So last time we discussed about the demand for energy, right? What are the reasons, right? What were the things, right? Which is needed, right? Okay. So we discussed about agriculture. We discussed about industry, right? We discussed how agriculture is demanding, right? Energy, right? Development, right? And how industry and the transport, of course, it's like developed a lot now, right? Okay, so there are a lot of areas that you have to focus, right? So that is the reason. And day by day, the transport section, industries, and all the other areas, of course, it's improving, right? So for that, you need energy, right? And we discussed the urbanization, right? Now that is one of the most common thing, right? Now every city in the world, it gets developed, right? Every city, every country, right? Day by day they change everything. So that's what. So to increase the consumption, right? To provide what is there, what is needed, people they engage in, or they have to increase the energy, right? So that is also a one reason why people need energy, right? And next one is the wealth. Now when people become wealthier, when people have money, what happened? Their demand for energy also increased. Why? Because they purchase domestic appliances, leisure and recreation activities are there, right? Now if they have money, sometimes they will buy 4 5 vehicles. So for those 4 5 vehicles you need energy, right? Maybe they may be running using petrol, maybe diesel, maybe solar. Even though we need what? Energy. අපිට මේ හැම දෙයකටම energy ඕන වෙනවා, right? නාගරිකරණය, right? මිනිස්සුන්ට සල්ලි හම්බුනහම, right? Lot of things. Okay. So that is the reason, right? So because of that, people they request, they need. So for that, the government of different countries, they need to supply, right? Okay. So when you use power at home, now when you're at home, we have to use this power efficiently, right? We make a පරිස්සමෙන් පාවිච්චි කරන්න ඕනේ, right? Now we have to switch off the bulbs only when it's necessary. අවශ්‍ය වෙලාවට විතරක් bulb on කරන්න ඕනේ, right? We have to use only when it's necessary, where the place and time, right? ගෙදර කොහේ හරි යනවනම් මුළු ගෙදරම lights ටික දාලා යන්න ඕනේ නැහැ, right? ඒ වගේ. Now you have to use more efficient electric bulbs, right? Compact fluorescent lamp, and latest ones are like LED, right? They are very famous, so energy efficient as well, right? So that is also very important. And then we should not keep the door of the refrigerator open for a long time. Okay, then also energy is wasted, and number of times it is open should also be limited, right? And you have to use firewood hearths that do not waste heat. Okay, yeah. When you're using a gas cooker, you have special utensils that you're using, right? again gas cooker එක පාවිච්චි කරනකොට ඒක පාවිච්චි කරන්න ඕන භාණ්ඩ තියෙනවා. Okay, ඒ ගැලපෙනව තමයි පාවිච්චි කරන්නේ. ෆ්‍රිජ් එක උනත් හැම වෙලේම අපි ඕපන් කර කර ඉන්නේ නැහැ. ඒක අවශ්‍ය වෙලාවට විතරයි ඕපන් කරන්නේ, right? So when using vehicles, you have to plan everything together. vehicle එකක් පාවිච්චි කරනකොට අපි ඔක්කොම එකපාර plan කරලා එකපාරින් ගිහින් කරගෙන එන්න ඕනේ. සැනෙන් සැරේට යන්න නැති වෙන්න. Then what happen? අපිට සල්ලි තියෙන්න පුළුවන්. right? පෙට්‍රල් ගන්න පුළුවන් වෙන්න පුළුවන්. හැබැයි මොකද වෙන්නේ? ඒකිනුත් තව වැඩිපුර නැති වෙනවා. Okay? තියෙන ප්‍රමාණය අඩු වෙන එක වෙන්නේ. We will waste them. So it is economical if you use them like that. So if you practice these methods, you can save a lot of energy, right? So that's one thing. So it is important, right? Otherwise it's a problem. Now, when you're buying also, you have to consider about certain things, right? And I'll show you a small video about this, right?
Every day, we use energy to do just about everything. We use it to turn on lights, cook food, run computers, heat water, and play video games. But have you ever stopped to think about where that energy comes from and how much we use? Most of the energy we use comes from power plants that burn fossil fuels like coal, oil, and natural gas. These fuels create electricity, but they also pollute the air and release gases that contribute to climate change. The more energy we use, the more pollution we create. That's why using energy wisely is such an important part of helping the planet. But don't worry, saving energy doesn't mean sitting in the dark or freezing in the winter. In fact, there are small, smart choices we can make every day to use less energy while still doing all the things we enjoy. Let's talk about your school. What are some things that use energy there? Lights in the hallway, computers in the lab, the heater in the winter, projectors in the classroom, even the bell system. All of those things require electricity. Now think, are they always being used wisely? Sometimes lights are left on in empty rooms. Computers stay running when no one's using them. Windows are open while the heat is blasting. These might seem like small things, but they add up. And what about at home? TV's playing when no one's watching. Long showers with hot water. Chargers left plugged in all day. All of that uses energy, and a lot of it goes to waste. Now imagine giving your school or your home an energy makeover. You don't need a hammer or a construction crew. All you need is a list of smart actions that can help save energy every single day. So here's your writing challenge. You're going to write a step-by-step guide.
Right? So that is about how you can save energy, right? Now look at this. Urbanization, right? Now, urbanization, right? There are a lot of countries, right, of urbanization, right? A lot of areas. Making the ප්‍රශ්නත් ඇති වෙනවා හොඳ දේවලුත් වෙනවා, right? දැන් මේ එක රටක් ජනගහනය වැඩිවීම හින්දා නයිජීරියාවේ බාණ්ඩ වෙලා තියෙන දේ, right? See.
This is Lagos,
See.
the most populated city in Africa. It's
ප්‍රේගාව
the
තියෙන
financial capital of
ජනගහනය වැඩිම
Nigeria, the
රට.
continent's largest economy. More than
Oh.
15 million people live here. That's twice the size of the next biggest African megacity.
What was once a small coastal town is now a heaving metropolis attracting economic migrants from all over West Africa. But as the city's population keeps growing, you can really feel the infrastructure buckle under the pressure.
Oh,
Earlier
Garbage.
this year, the state expanded its population control policy, granting access to free contraceptives at local clinics. Convinced.
So 6 children, and you potentially are going to have more.
Closely linked to a woman's worth.
You can
For
see the
those who can't
houses that they
deliver,
live in.
there are consequences.
Urbanization in the
Do you
Velatiyana
feel
Valley.
pressure to have children soon?
As families keep
And
growing,
the things
there are
that
more
they eat.
mouths to be fed.
Khanda kæmerne hai.
So how are you able to provide for your children, for your 5 children?
wàhálà ni tí n bá kò sí owó tí n bá lọ máa ń ṣe wàhálà títí tí máa ń fún wọn èmi náà
Right.
mi ní jẹ.
without their husbands.
Now, if you look at the place, you can
Once
see
the husband
garbage
is there in the
everywhere.
house,
ජනගහනය
they have to
වැඩි
follow
වුණා
the
මෙන්න
instruction
දේවල්
of
තමයි, right?
the husband.
ඇවිදින්න
So
වෙන්නේ
the
කුණු
husband
උඩින්,
dictates whether
right?
a child, the mother has the child, whether they even decide to use any of the
The
contraceptive
husband
methods.
decide.
Why do people want to keep having more children?
That's what. That is one area like that. Oh, yeah, African වල. Africa, right? So there are other countries as well, right? India වගේ ගත්තොත් එහෙම, it's very common. So urbanization is a problem, right? Okay, let's write it. For the subtopic urbanization, Right. So that is about urbanization, right? Next, we'll discuss about wealth. Now, as people become wealthy, මං කිව්වේ මේ මිනිස්සුන්ට සල්ලි වැඩි වෙන්න සල්ලි තියෙන මොකද වෙන්නේ? ඒගොල්ලෝ ගොඩක් දේවල් මිලදී ගන්නවා. ගොඩක් බඩු ගන්නවා. Domestic appliances ගන්නවා. මොකද වෙන්නේ එතකොට? What happens? Right? Energy කියන එක නැති වෙනවා නේද? විනාශ වෙනවා. ආන් ඒ වගේ, right? දැන් මේ වань මේ රට මේ තමයි ලෝකේ පොහොසත්ම රට ලක්සම්බර්ග්. මේ රටේ හැම මිනිස්සෙක්ම මිලියනපතියෙක්. හැම මිනිස්සෙටම මිලියනයක් තියෙනවා. ඕකේ? ඒක ඒ තරම් ඒ රටේ මිනිස්සු පොහොසත්. ලෝකේ පොහොසත්ම රට. ඇමරිකාව නෙමෙයි. Right?
Question is, welcome to the wealthiest country in the world. And that place is Luxembourg.
Luxembourg.
A country that may be small but has an economy unlike any other.
පොඩි රටක්.
Luxembourg holds the highest GDP per capita in the entire world, being over
ඒක පුද්ගල ආදායම ඩොලර් 1,16,000යි.
$125,000.
Right?
With all of this wealth,
ඒ කියන්නේ සාමාන්‍යයෙන් ඉතින් ඕක 300න් වැඩි කරලා බලන්නකො හසරංග 1,16,000. ඒතර එනවා අවුරුද්දක පඩිය මිනිස්සෙක්ගේ. Right? 1,16,000 300න් වැඩි කරාම. Right?
wealth and business pouring into this country. Everywhere you turn, this place just looks like a modern fairy tale. And after only exploring this little country for the past 24 hours, I'm excited to share with you guys more on what makes Luxembourg the world's most wealthiest country. So after a quick 2-hour train ride from Paris, we made it here to Luxembourg. And Luxembourg is a country that I've always been so fascinated by. It's one of the smallest countries in the world, as well as the wealthiest. So over the course of the next 24 hours, Chris and myself are here to uncover what else this country has to offer. Now, supposedly, all of the public transport in this country is entirely free. Not
මේ රටේ හැම පොදු ප්‍රවාහන සේවයක්ම නොමිලේ. It's free. බස් එක එතකොට ටැක්සි සර්විස් කෝච්චි හැම දෙයක්ම නොමිලේ දාවනේ වෙන්නේ. මිනිස්සුන්ගෙන් සල්ලි ගන්න නැහැ. It's free. Right?
be sure if that's correct, but we got the information right here. Let's see
Right.
if this is actually true. Hello. About all of the
Okay.
other bigger brothers. Well, that was the cleanest and cheapest tram I've ever been on. So the first
Tram.
thing that I'm noticing about Luxembourg is that there are a lot of luxurious stores. Sorry, guys. So my plan was originally to come here to Luxembourg to do one of my $100 challenge series videos here, but after looking up the prices of hotels, it just did not seem possible at all.
සාමාන්‍යයෙන්
But
හොටෙල්ස් ගත්තොත් එහෙම ඒ රටේ ලොකු ගාණක් වෙනවා. Right? ඒ කියන්නේ right? දැන් බලන්නකෝ ඩොලර් 152යි. ඒ කියන්නේ එක රැයකට right? 180යි. ඒ කියන්නේ සාමාන්‍යයෙන් 70,000ක් 80,000ක් විතර වෙනවා. Right? කියන්නේ one night එක රැයකට. ඒ hotels, right? ආන් ඒ වගේ.
seem
Very
possible
expensive.
at all. But one thing, a part of that series that I like to do is showcase how much a Big Mac is in different countries around the world. And here in Luxembourg, we just checked, and it is €8.95 for a Big Mac. That's more
මැක්ඩොනල්ඩ්ස් වලින් කනවා නම් බර්ගර් එකක් සාමාන්‍ය ඩොලර් 9ක් වෙනවා. කියන්නේ අපෙන් බැලුවොත් එහෙම ඩොලර් 9ක් කියන්නේ කීයක් විතර සාමාන්‍යයෙන්? right? 2700ක් වෙනවා. right? 2700 3000ක් අතර right? ඔව්. එක බර්ගර් එකක්. right? බර්ගර් කිං හරි මැක්ඩොනල්ඩ්ස් වලින් කනකොට right? ඒක තමයි ලෝකයේ පොහොසත්ම රටනේ. ඉතින් එතකොට ඒවා අඩු ගන්නට දෙන්න බෑනේ නේද? yes, that's why.
expensive.
Very
In Switzerland,
expensive.
New York City, everywhere that I've been so far, that's the most expensive Big Mac.
ඇමරිකාවත් එච්චර ගන්න.
Guys, I don't mean to do so much McDonald's content, but even the workers inside were some of the nicest, friendliest, well put together restaurant employees that I've seen. Then even out here in the courtyard, they have this awesome seating for the McDonald's. Feels way more like a restaurant than just the American fast food establishment. So we just made it here to the Grand Palace where His Royal Highness Grand Duke Henry resides. Luxembourg is the only country in the world that still has a Grand Duke. There's no king or queen, just Your Royal Highness Henry. And also, Grand Duke Henry is actually a billionaire worth $4 billion. So, Grand Duke Henry, if you're watching this, hit me up. Let's do a collab. We're always looking for billionaires to get on the channel.
එහෙ ඉන්නේ මේ ජනාධිපති කෙනෙක් නැහැ. There's no president in the country. රජ කෙනෙකුත් නැහැ, කුමාරිකාවකුත් නැහැ. ඉන්නේ ඩියුක් කෙනෙක්. කියන්නේ එයා තමයි Royal Highness කියලා කියන්නේ. එයා තමයි රටේ ප්‍රධානියා. ඒතර එයාගේ වත්කම ඩොලර් බිලියන 4ක් වෙනවා. $4 billion තියෙනවා එයාට. කියන්නේ රටේ ප්‍රථම පුරවැසියට. right? ඒක තමයි. ඉතින් ඒතකොට wealth කියලා කියන්නේ ඒකද? That is what wealth. Okay? So wealthiest stuff, right? Wealthiest things, right? ගණන් වැඩිම billionaires ලා ගන්න දේවල් තියෙනවා, right? එතකොට right? ඒ කියන්නේ සල්ලි තියෙන අය. දැන් අපි සාමාන්‍යයෙන් Lamborghini එකක් ගත්තොත් සල්ලි තියෙන කෙනෙක් රත්තරන් වලින් හදපු Lamborghini එකක් ගන්නවා. සල්ලි තියෙනවනේ නේද? Yes. අන්න ඒ වගේ. ඉතින් ඒකයි වෙන්නේ. When you have money.
If you had more money than you could possibly spend in 100 lifetimes, wouldn't it make sense to blow some of it on some outrageously stupid things? From $24 million pocket watches to diamond-studded sports cars and even a bathroom throne made of gold, the richest explore some of the dumbest things ever purchased by billionaires. First up, you guys know what a watch is, right? It's one of those silly single-function devices that people used to use to tell time back in the olden days, before cell phones. Well, feast your eyes on the most expensive pocket watch ever purchased. This is the Patek Philippe Henry Graves Super Complication Watch. It's called a super complication watch because the Swiss luxury watch manufacturer claims that it is, quote, the world's most complicated time.
ඒක තමයි ලෝකේ තියෙන pocket watch එක. මේලෙන් අධිකම.
Commissioned by American businessman Henry Graves in 1939, the gold-cased watch contains 920 individual parts, including 70 jewels, all of them handcrafted on a tiny scale. The piece also boasts 24 individual functions, including sunrise and sunset time displays, lunar phases, and a star chart. While businessman Graves paid $15,000 for the timepiece back in 1939, or the equivalent of $202,000 today, the Patek Philippe Super Complication Watch was purchased by an anonymous buyer at an auction in 2014 for the ridiculous sum of $24 million.
ඩොලර් මිලියන 24කට පර්චේස් කරලා තිනවා මේ ළඟදී. watch එකක් ඔල්ලෝසුවක්.
Say
සල්ලි තියෙනවා නේද?
118%
සල්ලි තියෙනකොට ඉතින් අපිට
dumb.
මිලියන ගණන් දීලා ඔල්ලෝසුවක්
Okay,
ගන්න
next
පුළුවන්.
up, let's just say that for the sake of argument, you're a multi-billionaire who also happens to love luxury sports cars. So how many
car.
do you think you'd have in your
සල්ලි
garage?
තියෙනවනේ.
A dozen,
You
maybe?
can buy a car,
Maybe 20 or 30 max? Well, meet Haji Hassanal Bolkiah, aka the Sultan of Brunei, a tiny country smaller than the US state of Delaware in Southeast Asia. This guy loves luxury vehicles so much that he owns, hold on to your hat, folks, somewhere between 5 and 7,000 of the world's rarest.
දැන් මේ තායිලන්ඩ් පැත්තේ ඉන්නවා මිලියන කෙනෙක්. එයා ගාව ලක්ෂරි කාස් 5000ක් 7000ක් අතර තියෙනවා, right? කාර් 5000ක් 7000ක් අතර තියෙනවා මේ සුපර් කාස්. Lamborghini, Ferraris, Porsche, right? BMWs වගේ දේවල්. එකක් දෙකක් නෙමෙයි 5000ක් 7000ක් අතර. right? එතකොට ඔය 5000ටම පෙට්‍රල් ගහන්න ඕනේ, සර්විස් කරන්න ඕනේ, බැටරි දාන්න ඕනේ. එතකොට මොනවද වේස්ට් වෙන්නේ? එනර්ජි නේ. yes. එතකොට සල්ලි වැඩි වුණාමත් එනර්ජි වේස්ට් වෙනවා. that's what.
Of the world's rarest, finest, fastest,
no.
and most expensive cars. Yes, we said 1,000. Among the collection, over 400 Ferraris, 24
Ferrari
Lamborghinis, and
600
600 Rolls Royces, including one Rolls dubbed the Star of India, which holds the title of the world's most expensive car at a price tag of $14 million. So how much total has the Sultan shelled out on all 7,000 cars? Topspeed.com estimates their total value at $5 billion.
$5 billion
The Sultan's total
car
net worth is only $20 billion. He spent 25% of his net worth on cars. See? Dumb. Our next dumb purchase was made by American rap artist Brian Birdman Williams. Okay, full disclosure, he's not actually a billionaire. He's just a mere humble millionaire. But this purchase is so dumb, we couldn't help but include it on this list. The rapper apparently loves his money. I mean, after all, he named his record company Cash Money. Anyway, in 2016, he came under fire for spending 1 million smackaroos on, are you ready for it? A toilet made of
Toilet.
gold.
Gold color
When
toilet.
Birdman boasted about his golden throne purchase on Instagram, some rap fans labeled it as
Right.
a low blow.
ඔව් සල්ලි තියෙනකොට අපිට වොෂ්රූම් එකේ තියෙන දේවල් රත්තරන් වලින් හදන්න පුළුවන්. ප්‍රශ්නයක් නැහැ. හරිද? ඒක තමයි කියන්නේ. ඒතර සල්ලි වැඩි වුණාම මොකද වෙන්නේ? Energy waste වෙනවා නේද? We waste lot of energy. That's what. Okay? Right. Let's write about it. Put the subtopic wealth. Finish writing. Okay. Right. So how can you use power at home, right? We'll discuss about it, right? කොහොමද බල ශක්තිය power කියන එක අපි පාවිච්චි කරන්නේ, right? Right here. Energy conservation. බල ශක්තිය ආරක්ෂා කර ගැනීම, right?
Just as wind energy is poised to become a major energy source, people are beginning to report problems, like huge wind machines built too close to people's houses.
It was definitely not necessary to put them 300 or 400 or 700 meters away from people's homes.
Lotta Nilsson lives in southern Sweden. In 1999, her small village became the site of one of Sweden's new wind farms. Almost immediately, neighbors began to talk about loud noise and a disturbing strobe light effect as the turbine blades cut through the morning and evening sunlight.
The wind companies must absolutely, if they believe in their business, be much more careful ahead, because this opinion is growing and they will have an enemy there.
People are coming up with common sense solutions like putting smaller turbines in residential areas and the huge machines further from people. Of course, the easiest way to avoid the troubles associated with any technology is to need less of it.
The single biggest change in our economy over the past 30 years hasn't been information technology, hasn't been, mass production or whatever else. It's been the change in our energy use.
Americans are nearly 40% more efficient today than during the OPEC oil crisis of the 1970s. That event turned conservation into good business. But the U.S. still uses more energy and creates more pollution per person than any large nation. The U.S. has learned to conserve, but other nations have learned to conserve much more. Renewable technologies like solar panels, wind turbines, and fuel cells also offer another benefit. They can be built, installed, and used locally. But U.S. government support for renewable technologies still lags far behind subsidies for nuclear, oil, or coal.
We did the heavy lifting, but we're now giving away the store by not just keeping up those pretty modest levels of investment.
For years, supporters of renewable power have fought to make clean energy competitive. Now technology is catching up with that dream, and when people begin to see economic and environmental benefits, public attitude shouldn't be too far behind.
Right. Okay. Let's write about it. When you use power at home. Okay. Write the lines that I underline, okay? Write these points. Finish writing. Okay. Right. Okay. Now we'll discuss about how we use these energy sources economically. මේ sources of energy මත මේ බල ශක්තිය අපි කොහොමද හරි අරපිරි මැස්පෙන් භාවිතා කරන්නේ. Now the light we get from a bulb of 60 watt is provided by a CFL bulb of 11 watt. සාමාන්‍යයෙන් පරණ bulb තියෙනවා watt 60ක විතර තියෙන. ඒතර මේ 60ක watt තියෙන bulb එකකින් දෙන එළියම watt 11කින් දෙන CFL bulb තියෙනවා. Okay. So we can save the power of 245 watt if we use 5 CFL bulbs of 11 watt. එතකොට 11 watt 11 bulb පහක් අපි පාවිච්චි කරොත් එහෙනම් අපිට watt 245ක් ඉතුරු කරගන්න පුළුවන්. watt 60 ඒවා පාවිච්චි කරන්නේ නැතුව. So that is why it's economical. Compact fluorescent lamp CFL bulb. Right? ඔය ඉස්සර තිබ්බ bulb එකක් තමයි ඒක, right? දැන් LED තියෙන්නේ, right? So compact fluorescent lamp is that what? ඩයි වැඩගත් කියන එක, right? ඉස්සර ගොඩක් වෙලාවට පාවිච්චි කරා. Right? Look at this. මේව තමයි වැඩ කරන්නේ, right?
Light is an important part of our daily life. We all have seen bulbs providing light. When we press the switch, the light gets on and off. We all have seen the CFL bulbs. But do we know how it works? Let's know about the working principle. Before that, let's go through precisely its invention. So, a man named Thomas Edison, created in 1879, was the greatest innovation with the incandescent bulb, which went on for quite a long span of time, but with time people started upgrading themselves. These incandescent bulbs generated light, heating tungsten filament with nearly 2000 degrees Celsius or more. But this method of generating light affected the greenery and greenhouse gas produced with high power consumption, which had a bad effect of increasing the temperature in the atmosphere. Keeping these things in mind, Edison's invention was replaced with a surprise: the new bulb, known as the compact fluorescent light bulb, commonly known as the CFL bulb. Today, in this video we will learn its parts and working principles. It consists of three major parts like screw base or housing, electronic ballast, and spiral lamp. At the ballast, there are some small components. These are capacitor, rectifier, bridge, transistors, choke, feedback transformer and fuse. These bulbs contain argon and mercury vapor within the spiral-shaped tube instead of filament light bulbs. Let's see how it works. Bulbs need an AC supply that facilitates the changing of the functionality of anode and cathode. In a CFL bulb, electric current flows. When the electricity is passed through a filament, which is usually made of tungsten, of electrodes, the temperature rises about 900 degrees Celsius. These accelerated electrons strike mercury and argon atoms, which arise from low-temperature plasma. This process generates the radiation of mercury in ultraviolet form. The vacuum pipe or tube contains a luminophore. It is in the inner part, and its main function is to convert ultraviolet light into visible light. The fluorescent coating painted inside the tube is stimulated by ultraviolet light. This is because the coating absorbs the energy-emitting visible light. These bulbs consist of a switch mode converter. This functions on a high frequency, which acts as a replacement of ballast and starter assembly. This ballast helps in the kickstart and then stimulates the flow of current once electricity passes. In this way, CFL bulb works. Friends, if you want to learn more about LED, share your comment. Thank you.
Right. So that is about CFL bulbs, right? Okay. Let's write about it. Let's put the subtopic economical use of energy sources. Okay, right? So now the light we get from a bulb of 100 watt can be obtained from a LED bulb of 9 watt. Then 100 watt bulb එකකින් සාමාන්‍යයෙන් එන bulb එකක තියෙන එළිය අපිට watt 9කින් එන LED bulb එකකින් ගන්න පුළුවන්, right? So it's energy saving නේ. So LED bulbs are very useful. Light emitting diode තමයි LED bulbs කියලා කියන්නේ. We call LED bulbs light emitting diode, right? Okay. Here, how does LED light work? කොහොමද මේ LED වැඩ කරන්නේ? Right? See.
Light stands as one of the most transformative innovations in human history. The journey began with the invention of the incandescent light bulb. Over time, the fluorescent light bulb became the star and replaced the incandescent light bulb. Today, LED takes the lead, bringing brightness and efficiency together and changing how we see the world. In today's video, we are diving into the fascinating world of LED lights, its structure, and working function. LEDs are versatile and can be found in various types in our daily lives. These are called through-hole LEDs. This is an LED bulb, featuring surface-mounted LEDs inside it. LED stands for light emitting diode, a semiconductor device that emits light when an electric current is applied. The process is based on electroluminescence, where the movement of electrons within the semiconductor material generates photons, producing visible light. First, we will clarify what is this diode. A diode is a two-terminal electronic component that allows current to flow in one direction, forward biased. This is a diode where the anode is positive and the cathode is negative. When connected to a battery with the positive terminal to the anode and the negative terminal to the cathode, forward bias, current flows easily through the diode. However, if we reverse the battery's polarity, reverse bias, the diode blocks the current flow in the opposite direction, maintaining its one-way behavior. It is primarily made of semiconductor materials, such as silicon or germanium. This is through-hole LED. Let's explore how this LED works. It has anode lead and cathode lead, reflective cup, semiconductor die, wire bond, lead frame, positive terminal and negative terminal. Here, the semiconductor is the main part. The upper part is called P-type, and the lower part is called N-type. Now we have to understand the P-type and N-type. In silicon, there are 4 valence electrons located in the outermost shell. These valence electrons are involved in covalent bonding with neighboring silicon atoms, forming a crystal lattice structure. Each silicon atom contributes 1 electron to each of the 4 covalent bonds it forms with adjacent silicon atoms. Here, no free electron. These are boron atoms, each having 3 valence electrons in the outermost shell. Now, if you replace 1 silicon atom with a boron atom, which has only 3 valence electrons, there is a deficiency of 1 electron in the crystal lattice. This deficiency is referred to as a hole. This type of semiconductor is a p-type semiconductor, where positive charge carriers, holes, contribute to the electrical conductivity. When a silicon atom is replaced by phosphorus in the crystal, extra electron is introduced, creating a free electron. This results in an N-type semiconductor, where free electrons become the dominant charge carriers, contributing to electrical conductivity. When we combine a p-type semiconductor with an N-type semiconductor, we create a p-N junction. This junction is where the p-type and N-type materials meet. if you connect the positive terminal of a voltage source to the p-type material and the negative terminal to the n-type material, this forward biasing reduces the potential barrier at the junction, allowing charge carriers, holes from the p-type and electrons from the n-type to move across the junction more easily. During this time, electrons are released protons and light emitting. If you found this video helpful, don't hesitate.
Right. So that is an LED work. That is how it is working, right? Okay. Right. So next day, we'll learn how an LED works and how an efficient hearth is made, right? And the other economical ways you produce energy, right? Okay. That's all for today then. Good night. Take care.